Bonjour, Mallory Nadежdina Cause. I am the host of She Carries the Water, and I'm with my guest, and I will let her introduce herself.
I'm Mary Jane. I'm actually Mallory's sister.
We kind of grew up and just trying to capture people's experiences of water, of life around it, and just everyday people. So, do you have anything off the top you want to share, or would you rather me kind of ask you questions?
Maybe just ask me questions and we can kind of flow with it.
So, what memories of the land, either the rivers, the lakes, the waters, stand out the strongest for you?
In Batchewana Bay, when the tide went out, that was a big one because me and my cousin Rob, we got our boots on and we'd walk the shore. The shore was huge back then, right? Because the water was way out, like as far as you can see. So we looked for all kinds of stuff and we found like a baby pike, crabs, we call them. Crayfish, yeah. Minnows and all kinds of different cribbing where there were little docks and stuff.
How old were you when that kind of happened?
I'll say maybe 11, 12. That was a big one because I've never seen that before. The moon has something to do with the tide, and on the other side of Lake Superior, it pulls water way out. But it was like way far out there. It was nice, beautiful.
And so you're actually able to go walk around and just kind of see what is underneath the water.
Yes, which is a different way to see the lake. And then like maybe after, it felt like an hour, but it could have been more or less. You don't know when you're a kid. It came back in. We watched it come all the way back in. It was pretty cool. Like, and then like we looked at the dock too, and the dock was almost out of water.
That's pretty cool because what we know of Superior, like it's just people call it the Big Sea in the language Gitchigumi, but because it acts sometimes like a sea, which is totally weird if you're not ocean bound and stuff.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know that it shouldn't do that. Right. You just kind of assume if you're from those areas that that's what happens. But on a Gitchigumi, that doesn't happen.
And it's so vast. Like if you're out there, especially when would go on the tugboat and you look around, there's no land like whatsoever, right? And it's just this deep blue, endless water, like sea, I guess.
Speaking of tugboats and getting to experience that, kind of describe a tug for me, or in order for people who don't understand what that is, or why we use tugs. Or
so our uncles were commercial fishermen, and a tugboat is a big fishing boat where it's capable of sleeping arrangements. One, because they would stay overnight to pull and put out nets. Nets are used to catch the fish. They're called gill nets. They catch the gill of the fish. But the tugboat itself is big, where you can store the fish, clean the fish, sleeping quarters,
and big enough to handle the weight.
Yes, that's the biggest thing. Yeah,
especially when you're out in the middle of the lake.
Yeah, and like you're pulling these nets from depths of over 100 feet. These are big nets. They're big nets in the bottom because the trout and mostly the trout are deep water fish. So.
And so trout and fishing and all that stuff, like I know you're not an experienced commercial fisherman, but you are an avid fisher woman.
Yes,
a fisher, as our niece would call her. But tell me some experiences you have, just like where you would go fish, what you would catch, how. Yeah, kind of that process, because you're pretty avid in what you do.
Yeah, and that's my passion, really. Like, I love fishing. I remember a time where me and Rob, again, because we hung out a lot when we were kids, we were in his paddle boat and we were just paddling around, casting around the shore in Batchewana Bay again. And we seen a big fish swimming like underneath us. And we're like, what is that? We threw everything. We had our fish rods. We threw everything at it. Finally, Rob caught this fish that you can see it, right? And it's this big fish. He caught it. We got it in the paddle boat. We were pumped. Like it was exciting. And, cause it was the biggest, like we were used to catching a little wee bass at the dock, right?
Little rock bass.
Yeah.
Fun bass.
Yeah. So it was a big salmon that we caught, and we like paddled fast as we could all the way into the shore, ran it up to Graham, and then she was excited. So right away she cleaned it for us, she baked it, and she made us eat. Well, that's the first time I had salmon. Didn't like it.
It took you 30 years to eat salmon again.
Yes. But just that experience was, because our Graham was like pumped, like she was excited. She's like, no way, you guys caught that out there. Like, because salmon only come into the bay, usually it's the fall, and you don't see them. Because he was just in 8 feet of water probably, but that was awesome. And yeah, that's the thing too. She used every part of the fish. So she cooked the meat, obviously, and then she put the rest of the salmon in her garden. Yeah, which is nice because then it helps the flowers. Nothing's gone to waste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time. Tell me about some of either the people or places that kind of shaped you the most growing up near the water, growing up around the water, either in Kichigumi or Bawatang. You mentioned Rob, right? And then you're mentioning Graham. Is there any other stories you want to share about them or any other people or places that really kind of shaped you and allowed you to kind of fall in love with our area or fishing or kind of the hobbies that you do?
Well, I think just living there has influenced who I am. I've learned so much from just being on the water or near the water. Like I would work all day, and then when the weekend would come, I'd be excited just by myself to go to Montreal River and find new rocks, or just look in the water and see what's new that day because it changes ever so often, like what the tide brought in, or like if I would just go out and just sit by the water and if I had a bad day or, it brings peace, calm. I think a lot of things I can tie back to Lake Superior or in Kichigumi.
It's just like your own wellness and being
Yes. Yeah.
around it and near it.
I noticed too when I was I was away from home for a while. I had to go to Thunder Bay for something, and even being in Thunder Bay, it was Lake Superior. I'm like, see, now I feel back at home, and I still felt that sense of home in Thunder Bay because I was on Lake Superior. And there's this one part of the drive from the Sioux to Batchewana, where you just crest over that hill and you see it, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Back. It's a huge feeling.
Oh yeah, yeah. But it's taught me to kind of like calm myself and look around and appreciate
Hmm.
and just be grateful
Yeah.
because not a lot of people will get to grow up near the water. So
And even like I'm also hearing like a little bit of awe and graciousness for being able to see her and feel like you belong no matter what part you're visiting, right? Like,
yes,
because she's so vast, she's so big.
yep,
Like you're still of that land and of that water. So
yeah, yeah, and like it's crazy the different things that you will learn from the water itself, like all the rocks. All the different types of land formations and fish, all the things that are in the water and out of the water that depend on the water, like the birds or
the medicine,
yep,
the plant.
the plants, yep. Yeah, because I did a plant study along the Root River as well. You find out what grows next to water, like water is life. So
Completely. Even if we think back to days where we were reliant on the water and knowing the season of each of those fishes and when they show up and when they, because I know you were very avid in, okay, it's this time of
yes,
year, we're going to go catch this
yep.
and we got to go here. And can you tell us a little bit?
Well, everything kind of waits for each other to happen. You can't just go catch salmon,
Right?
yeah. You have to wait until they are ready to come where you can get them, or when they're ready to spawn, or stuff like that. Like everything's dependent on each other.
Yep. I think it's a huge lesson. Even if you go to pick blueberries somewhere, they're not in season all
Yes.
year round.
Yep.
Everything takes its time and its cycle and follows.
Yeah, and it's crazy how other things are dependent. Like when you hear the spring peepers, that's when the smelt run. Like it's the croak of a frog, the beep 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 beep. Then you know the smelt are running, so everybody's going to get the smelts. And then after the smelts, it's the pickerel. Like it's all very like right behind each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also speaks to like the reciprocity and the harmony that everything needs to be cyclical, right? Wait their turn and follow their cycle.
Well, that's how we named our moons, right? Like a strawberry moon. Like the strawberries are the first berry to come out, and that's when the strawberry moon is. That's when you can pick them. That's when they grow. Then they'll be done after that next month because they're only a short season, right? So that's why we named our calendar year.
Yeah. Based off what's in season when it's time for that.
Just going back to that, like, it really taught me to just listen, look around, and really learn from the animals, plants. And I took a liking to it because it was so fascinating to me. And then you share that common interest with somebody else, like Rob or like Graham or like anybody else. And then you learn from each other. And you go like, oh, you know what that plant? Like you can really get to know somebody by talking to them about what you're interested in too. When you share that common interest, but it's all based on nature, really.
Yeah, a place within it.
Yeah, yeah.
I know you have stories about learning from Graham, and I think it's just if we were to give her time and space right now, what would you want others to know about her, or as we carry on information and histories, carry on those forward? What's something that kind of stands out about her that you would just kind of want to share?
Maybe she's, I don't know, like that's a hard one.
In what
Like,
way?
because she was always like a fangirl of all of us, like she was always like a yes girl, like, hey Gran, can you take me, or like, can you show me this, or teach me this? Yes, let's do it now. When I was in college, I had to do this plant project, so I went up to Batch and I said, Graham, can you help me with this? I don't know what I'm doing. So she took me in her little car, her little mouse car, and went down the dirt road, and we looked at every plant, we picked it, we put in the book, we dried it, and we together look in the book of what that leaf was and learn about it, because that's what you had to do for the project. But she was so for you, like, no matter what you wanted to do, she was always a cheerleader,
Willing to share, and teach.
and yeah, the knowledge she had too. Like, that's how I really connected with her was, through nature, basically.
Watching the birds.
Yeah, the birds. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we learned all our birds together, all our plants together. We go for walks, and then we tried to feed different things where other birds would come in. But yeah, all kinds of stuff like that, where you're like, we're just sitting outside looking around. Oh, it's freaking, there's a black cap chickadee, like, or there's this one bird that she just hated because I think it was somebody, I think it was Donald, but I don't want to say that it was, but that was his favorite bird. So Graham was looking through the book of what that bird was. It was a dark-eyed junco. And it was just this plain Jane looking bird. And every time it showed up, she's like, oh, why did he like that one? Because there's all kinds of nice birds, right? Like, it was red, blue, yeah. But it was just like a black, boring bird, right? And she would go, oh, why does he like that dark-eyed junco? But she would get so upset every time that bird went by the feeder there. Yeah. But yeah, I think the biggest thing was she was always a yes girl. Like, just let's do it. Let's go. What do you want? Yeah. Yeah. Like, or you, I'll never forget. I was driving a rock truck, right? And we were hauling soil. So I'm like, oh, Graham, like, you should see all the nice black soil that we get out of the frickin' ground. Like, she's like, oh, really? I'll give you a bag and a pot. But you fill up the bag, put it in the pot, and bring it home for me. So I'll plant something in it, okay? So we were working in the good stuff that before that, and then we moved on to this other shitty stuff. So I'm like, man, there's only this freaking muddy old shit that I'm working in. So I'm like, well, maybe she'll like it. So I put it in that pot and I brought it home. It was just a pot of mud. And she tried to plant something in there. Yeah, she tried to plant because she didn't say, what the hell is it? She didn't say, like, she's like, oh, thank you. Like, it's because I tried. I should have waited. It was the worst soil ever.
You taking a shot?
When she tried to plant, I forget something in that. And I looked at that pot all summer long while I stayed there with her. It didn't grow nothing. But she would have never changed it. She would have, stuck with it, kept trying. Yeah. Yeah. So, and if it was her love that made that plant grow, that's what it is. Yeah.
And just in that kind of realm as well, like when you think of even our family, like our whole extended family, or the people surrounded in either batch or beyond, what moments or voices also come to mind?
Friends.
Yeah. Well, obviously there's something else there that you're wanting to share, right? And just give voice to maybe some more memories with her, because I know you have a lot.
Yeah, I'm trying to think too, but that's what comes to mind now.
Yeah, and that's okay. I know, like, I'm just thinking about how often we would go fishing in Boating St. Mary's River, going either salmoning in the fall or going to go catch bass, like big bass.
Yeah.
I know you did even some work in your career going up and down the river and tracking different species and stuff. Like, what have you learned about that river, or anything you'd like to share?
I fished that river so many times where I knew exactly where they were, and how to get them and what time. But every time I went up there, nobody else was fishing, right? Because they don't think that nobody knows that they're there. And they're the most sought after fish. And there they are right there. Like all you have to do is put in the time and the work. So that was a big one to me. I missed that going up there.
And you would go hand bomb your own little boat.
Yes.
Back it in, hand bomb.
Yep. You get flat tires all the time. But even then you like that's the time, it's springtime, right? So everything's waking up and you see all kinds of stuff. You'll see all kinds of beaver, all kinds of muskrat, all kinds of birds like heron, the big birds that are fishing too. And everything's coming back. And then you see how everything kind of works together, right? Like it's amazing. I miss that time. And that's one of the big parts that I miss here because there's no river fishing here. So river fishing, you're getting like, it's all based on season, like salmon in the fall, rainbow in the spring, pickerel in the spring. And then you can have fun on the river in the summer because you can go down the river on tubes. That was beautiful too when we went down the river and everybody else was on floaties, but I swam. I was on the little pool noodle, right? So I got to see everything. Like it was nice and clear and seeing salmon, lots of salmon.
I'm just even thinking of our time in Florida when we river and with the alligators and stuff. Right?
It's like there was garfish and there was some big fish in there.
Big fun fish.
Manatee. Well, we didn't see the manatees, but there was manatees in the
we did the manatee tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw them then, but so swim with gators and yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. And then even just doing the Root River study, that was pretty cool. What I do, I pick all plants that grew around the river to see if they were affected by chemicals because there was some companies that would dump in the Root River before. So I tested all along the Root River. I would dump off my kayak upstream and then I'd park and then walk back up to a kayak so I can go downstream and pick and stuff like that. But all the things you'd see, like the one time I was kayaking and it was only like this deep, right? So I was hitting bottom and stuff and I see like a pink worm fly down beside me. Like, what the heck's that? I see a pink worm fly down me. The heck are those? It was like a worm like this. And then all of a sudden just worms. They were shocking the lamprey. So it was all baby lamprey. But like that was gross.
Yeah. The first time you took me to go see lamprey and they're all attached to like the fish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to see them.
No.
Especially when we
Like swim,
we eat them. Like there's So just even acknowledging the area and where we're at right now, right? What area are we in?
We're in Temiskaming Shores. So Lake Temiskaming is just right down the hill from us. It's tea stain, not even tea stain, it's like chocolate milk. So you can't see like this deep below you. So that makes me miss Lake Superior because it's clear. You can see 30 feet down, right? But Temiskaming holds a lot of beauty as well. You can catch every type of fish in there. Like I call it the Lake Temiskaming bingo because I caught like 5 different caught like 5 different species a few days now. Yeah. Like not too many, like maybe 2 or 3 days. But like pickerel, pike, perch, ling, and what was it? A herring. All in one day, yeah. And mud puppies. Oh, there's a lot of those. Yeah. A lot of mud puppies. Mom always catches them and like she hates those mud puppies, right? So
get your line off.
Yes, that's what it is. But she'll freaking like we the first time we caught one. Well, that was another one. But
we're Nipissing.
Yeah, Nipissing, and like Nipissing, you catch pickerel, right? And we're staying overnight in one of the ice houses.
So it's just a ice shack on the lake with a toilet and bedding attached.
Yes, and we're all laying down fishing like out of the holes, right?
So we just got there. Or
no,
it was
nighttime. Yeah, it was nighttime. We're fishing for a bit. Nobody got any bites or nothing. And then Dad finally gets something. So we're like, come on, you're going to get it up. He just, he pulls it up. It was a mud puppy, which is like, it looks like a big salamander. They get pretty big. Like this, and it has legs, arms, tail.
Fucking thing was just curling up the line, and we're all
we didn't know what the hell we were like, because we're expecting pickerel. Yeah, yeah. Because that's what went like because that's the pickerel freaking trophy. Like
Yeah.
yeah. So we were cursed that night.
It was screamed.
And then mom, she would always get those freaking mud puppies on her line here and just be scared. Get it, just swallow it. Like she would just, yeah.
This is a woman that cleaned up
Mhm.
fish, and
Mhm.
she's pretty tough.
Yeah. I'll get it. Yeah. And she just gets pissed because all she wants to do is just catch a pickerel, right?
Yeah, and she can eat it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. When 2 years ago, we did really well over here. We brought Lila fishing and we were just nailing them, right? Like big time. But Lila, she's not really a fisherman, but we bring her because we want her to experience, catching one.
Get to learn.
Yeah. So dad set her up with this one that he was using the whole time. And like we're catching like small sauger, like I'm talking like 30. Like we caught lots. Okay.
Holy.
Yeah. But and she was feeding the eagles with them. She'd throw them out to the eagles. Yeah, on the ice and they would come down. But anyways, finally, like it was getting dark, like somewhat dark. And so when she sets the hook, right, it's like, yeah, she yanks and that fish is like,
Those lips are
but she had something big on.
Oh.
She was the first one to catch like a walleye. 3 of them. She had nice ones like this. And she was the only one to catch the walleye. And I'm like, yes, Lila, like, do you know how hard that is to catch that? I was telling her, like, we fish and fish and fish. And now you come out here and you and you freaking catch all those freaking walleye. But we were pumped for her because she was like,
she
yeah,
was in after
yeah,
that.
she was hooked. Yeah.
Can we just sidebar briefly? Whenever we used to go fishing, what would happen?
For your song?
Well, who would always catch?
Oh, yeah.
I would always catch the first fish or the most fish, and someone would be driving and setting bait in the hook, and the tunes and pulling out snags, and I'd catch all the fish.
You know what? That brought me back to like when I first fell in love with fishing. Okay, it was me and Uncle Rob and Rob, and he'd bring us out in his little canoe with the motor on the back.
Yeah.
And he'd bring us to this little bass lake, and he'd have his blue, and he'd crack it open. He'd have his smoke, and it's not until that cap hit the water that
But they would like it like
they
that.
put the cap in here, and and the couch
Yeah.
go into the water, and then bang. Yeah, for real. That's exactly when they would start hitting. I don't know what it was, but he was a good fisherman. Rob is too. But I remember, I think it was Rod Buchanan was with us the one time, and he was smoking too, I believe. And Uncle Rob had a big fish on, so Rod Buchanan's like, okay, I'll get the net, and he flipped the smoke, and it hit the line, and the line, yeah, no, yeah, so I lost it.
The way it happened.
Yeah. Uh-huh. A lot of times where we knock off the net off the fish, like that was another one but we would it'd be just us 4 in this little canoe, right? And in this old freaking, I think it was Robbie Cannon's like Jeep that we'd go in, and all those like old like trails or those little lakes back there. On mile 38. It was nice.
Go and explore.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you were talking about like swimming in Superior, and it's so clear you think it's the shores right there. I just get a picture of us being teenagers and swimming at Rock.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about that.
So I don't know I can't remember when I first found that spot or how I stumbled. I would just go and I'd find a dirt road off the highway. I'd go see what it looks like, right? If it's nice, whatever. Maybe that's how I stumbled upon, like, I don't know, but this place was like beyond because there was beautiful boulders, like I forget what they're called, the big rock holes where the rock sits in there, and it just, the waves push it so it swirls and it makes a big hole. It's like I don't know if it's a crater or anything, or potholes. I think they're called potholes. When you can see down deep, deep, deep. So we brought our kayaks out, and there's this huge rock. I don't even know how, it's got to be like 50 feet by 50 feet and high, maybe 20 feet high. And we would climb it, because it was way out there, right? So we'd I wouldn't swim there. We would, Yeah, sometimes
We did.
yeah, sometimes
We did.
we'd swim to the shore, like cross to the shore, and then cross from the shore to the rock. That's what the part was. But we did bring our kayaks, me, you, and Josh, the one day, and it was
Perfect
beautiful.
day.
Yeah, because the water was still, and like it's never like that out there.
Ever. We saw the pictographs
Yep.
from our kayak.
Yes, we did. Yep. And like that doesn't happen because the waves are so bad there. They have freaking ropes where if you go in, you can hold on, right? And get it back up. But the undertow was really bad there. But that day was like the perfect day. Yeah. So me and Josh are in our kayaks. We got on top of that hill, pulled our kayaks up that hill. Remember, Josh went down the hill in his kayak and into the water. Yeah. Grace, and
that's when we learned we can slide on that.
Yes, yeah. Oh yeah, and then we're like, oh, we gotta bring soap here next time.
We
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
So we brought like dish soap.
Yeah.
Put it on, like wet the rock, put the dish soap down so you can slide down the rock into the water.
Awesome.
And then there was like a bigger island behind that rock, and then we explored all of that. There was this, like, we called it a hot tub just because it was big as this room, and we all can all sit in there, and like where the waves would come in and swirl. Yeah.
And it was warm too.
Yeah, it was a little bit warmer than
than usual.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was beautiful that day.
So I just picture like swimming, like the rock's so far away. It's like, oh, I can touch here. I can get a break, and then you go down. You're like, down there.
It's crystal clear. Wouldn't even need underwater goggles to see anything because when you open your eyes down there, you can see a lot. Yeah, everything. I love doing that too. When if you're rock hunting, you just like put your goggles down and you just look for rocks falling in the water. But yeah, it's so clear.
Yeah, so lots of great just memories and stories about time on the water and time spent.
Yes, and that's why I say it's so impactful on how I grew up because I have so many and like a lot that I probably don't remember, but it definitely shaped me who I am big time. Just like Superior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just being able to explore and be curious about what's around you.
Yes. Yeah, that's what it was too. Yeah. It kept me curious, I'm like, because she is a mystery. You don't really know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so as I just think a little bit more about, coming to a close and kind of wrapping up for our first time together, is there anything you want to name or talk about what you hope the next generation could carry forward from your time spent on that area? Like even when you think about our nieces and nephews, like what would you want them to?
Well, just what you just touched on. Be curious, stay curious, and learn. Go find out where you're from or where you live. Go outside. Go find what a bird that bird that you hear all the time. What is that? It's so easy now. You can just Google a plant or a bird. Like, what does that look like, or what bird is that? But then you learn about that bird, and you learn about its habitat, about its food source. Like, and then you have such a big web of things to explore, right? And so stay curious. And then
What about asking someone else or ask?
Oh yeah. Ask us.
Me.
Ask like because if somebody asked me something like that, I would love that.
Yes.
Yeah, I love talking about it. And sometimes I feel like I get too excited, but that's just the passion that I have for it because it's so important to me. Like I would hope that I get asked and start a conversation. Like, don't be shy, don't be scared.
Yeah, you want to share.
Yeah. Yeah.
It took a lot for you to learn what you have learned, right? From your own curiosity, your own exploring, your own want.
Yes. Yeah. And that's actually like I learned a lot from people too, like that, that have lived near the water and stuff. Like, but yeah, stay curious and adventure.
Cool. Any final thoughts or words you want to add before we kind of end it and close it?
I would hope that more people share their stories and share their knowledge and just get outside and connect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say Chimigratch. And with that, we'll say Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.